everyone, and welcome to alt.net June. So if you're there, please stick a comment in so we know someone's actually listening before we get into the exciting talk part of things. Who have we got? Comment in the chat. So we have Alexi here, or Lex. So to keep it simple. You moving, Alexi? You don't move in my picture. You're still there?
1, 2, 3.
Very good. You just looked so still for a minute. I wasn't sure. So that's a bit terrible. So Alex is coming to us from his new office here. So very exciting there. Let's see. Come on, someone comment. Or is the comments broken? Yes, here we've got Alan. Good. People are there, and we are actually live. It's a good start. We've got Dimitri. So pre-COVID days when we could meet in person and have a beer or three. So we did actually have a physical meetup last week, and last month, not last week. And I think it was good, but we actually looked around for a venue this time, but we didn't have one. So our contact has gone on maternity leave. So, and Atlassian was not looking to have us at that point. All right, good. We have people in the chat. So if anyone does know a venue which is happy to host Sydney alt.net, then let us know and we can reach out to them. It seems to be really like, who you know. So because someone needs to stay usually for the event, you need someone at the host that, we don't really do that much .NET, to be honest, in this group, Dimitri, but we do occasionally. It's true, we occasionally do a nod to .NET, but as you know, today's presentation is on signals in JavaScript, so could work for Atlassian. But yeah, if anyone's got any venue or their office, or even better, if they can volunteer themselves in their office to host even once or from time to time, then we could do a physical meetup. Otherwise, we might go back in a couple of groups, a couple of months when our contact comes back again from maternity leave. It was really good having the physical group. It's good to see everyone. Good to eat pizza, drink beer. It was quite fun. So hopefully we'll have more in the future. Now, as usual, we've got JetBrains licenses to give away, the usual 2, and please do claim them quickly. Otherwise, they do expire after a little bit. And JetBrains hassles me and says, "Oh, no one's claimed their licenses. Do you really need them?" So, yes, better if you claim them soon after you win. And other than that, I think that's the main news. Francis couldn't join us today. Unfortunately, he's tied up with working late, so it's just us. But don't worry. We'll still run the show regardless. And if you've got any questions, feel free to interrupt Lex as he goes, and I'll surface them at a appropriate time, or just butt in and interrupt him sometimes. We'll see how it goes. All right, you ready to go, Alexi?
Yes.
All right.
Let's go.
Let's add your. Whoa, here we go, and I'll put you on top. Here we are. So unless anyone's got any burning questions at this point, I suppose we'll get into things. So we're talking about signals with Alexi, and he has spoken at our group multiple times with interesting presentations. And he's been to all sorts of presentations all over the place presenting, including Dubai and other far-flung places. So we're lucky to have him today, and hopefully at another physical meetup too, which I know you're keen to do. All right, over to you.
Hello, everyone. Thank you for joining the talk. This is second time me giving this talk. The first one is the first time I've done it in November at Web Directions. Web Directions is a great conference organized by John Alsop here in Sydney. He's organized in Sydney and in Melbourne, so I've been lucky being part of it last year. And so, the title of this talk, Redefining Reactivity with Signals. I probably could have come up with a better title, more like hype title, but yeah, this is not hype title. So yeah, let's jump into it. So through this talk, I'll be gonna talk about reactivity, first of all, signals, and frameworks in the context of JavaScript frameworks, front-end frameworks. So I hope you are super excited about that. But before we get
excited. All right, sorry, carry on.
Me too. Before we get into that, let me introduce myself. I am Lex Kuncevic. The best way to reach me out is on LinkedIn. Right there, you can see here on there a QR code. This is my LinkedIn profile. I'm a recognized industry expert, architecture and building systems. I step in to analyze the problem, take ownership of the problem, drive the solution, and get things done. So I build in systems, advising and educating, sharing technical concepts, and also I am supporting dev teams. So feel free to reach out if you need assistance or you know someone who does. Well, yeah, as a recognized industry expert, I'm part of Google Developer Experts program, which means I'm giving lots of talks. Yeah, this one actually from Dubai a year and a half ago. This one from another web direction, this one from Angular Melbourne, and this one actually I was pitching something to Minister of Information about 2 years ago. So it was fun event. Yeah, as you can tell, I am living and breathing technology, and I like to share my learnings with others. But in my spare time, I like to drive motorcycle. I climb in the walls. I am jumping up in the air, and I am riding my bicycle. Well, this one actually got stolen a year ago. Actually, it was a year ago. So my new bicycle color is like green, like light green. So I don't have this red one any longer. But if you see anyone riding that one, please let me know or call the police. Okay, so what is the biggest challenge when building web apps? What do you guys think? Think like in real, like technical terms, like there is something there that's super challenging.
Dimitri said state management.
Yeah, it's very close. Yeah, we can call it's part of it. Yes, it's synchronizing data in the view. So yeah, state management is kind of playing a role there. So we got a source. Maybe it's one way, or maybe this is two-way, or maybe this is real time, super fancy. And yeah, if we trying to play that kind of data flow, playing using modern front-end framework, there is a concept called change detection. It always helps, but sometimes it doesn't help. It depends on what framework you. It depends on what framework you're using and what version of that framework you're using. So sometimes, even if you are a PhD in that specific framework, change detection can still trip you up. Well, like you probably wonder why, and most of the experienced devs would know the answer to that question. So there's lots of asynchronous events, things like API calls, event listeners, user notifications, state management, and things like WebSockets, etc. And if you're trying to solve all these, asynchronous events, sometimes all of it, most of it at the same time, you know it. And so the challenge is brings race conditions, right? You have to look for race conditions. Sometimes you want to architect our data flow, so first things go first, second things go second, third things go third. You don't want the third things goes first, right? So that's a challenge there. Memory leaks, data flow, performance, and blocking the main thread. Yeah, this is a big one. Yeah, there is lots of challenges, and I bet most of you been there. So yeah, this is like kind of an unpleasant situation, especially for users of application, right? You don't want to upset your users. So what steps can we take to avoid this? Well, there is multiple answers to this question. One of the answers, async programming. Probably most of you heard of that. Well, we're talking async programming. It's usually in JavaScript context. This is something about promises and async await. It works great, but there is a couple of downsides. Error handling and debugging complexity, lack of cancellation. Again, race conditions, super challenging. Nested promises, well, yeah, we can end up in a thing called callback hell. So if some of you don't know what callback hell means, just Google it. You'll be laughing. So when to use promises? The answer to that question, well, if you kind of in a situation with tackling a single asynchronous operation, or maybe some kind of simple API call, you're doing something simple, right? So that's a great use case for using promises, like say, for example, fetching data from CRM, right? One way. So are there more options? Because, well, with promises, there is a couple of challenges there. And yeah, reactive programming kind of solving those problems which promises couldn't. And just to remind you really quick, reactive programming, there is a pattern, observable and observer. So we have one observable that emitting some kind of events, and we can have like multiple observers that reacting on those events. Yeah, this is kind of a observer in a nutshell. So the observable object is a core of this concept, and there is a library because observables they not really exist in JavaScript. Well, I tell you, actually, it is kind of exist already, but we talk about it later. So, but however, there is a library been around for decades. It's called reactive.js. So I wonder, some of you familiar with that library? Put a plus sign in the comment section if you familiar with reactive.js. This is a great library. I was updating these slides, so my November slide was about 40 million downloads per week. Now it is, I checked it today, this is 60 million npm downloads per week. This is big. This is big. So observable, observables, they're cancelable. It's very easy to error handle, guaranteed tear down of resources. It has extensive list of operations that you can use. And it keeps you away from this weird callback hell. So you don't want to be in that situation called callback hell. So what are the downsides? Well, there is a couple of downsides. Steep learning curve. Like, yeah, it might take you a while to learn it, but then even if you apply this learning and you forget about this project for another month or two, you come back to this project and you have to kind of learn it again. Well, but yes, the more cycles you do, the better you become. So this is a good solution for the problem. Well, debugging difficulty, yeah, sometimes if you stuck all these crazy pipeable operators, if you're doing something crazy, yeah, it can be hard to debug. There is a couple of third-party tools that can help. And yeah, it can get really complex sometimes, so look out for that. When to use observables? You might wonder, and the answer to this question, if you're handling multiple events over time, handling real-time data, combining multiple asynchronous sources. So literally, when source continuously changing, this is the best use case for observables and using reactive.js. But hang on a sec. Actually, in April 2025, with the release of Chrome version 135, thanks to these awesome guys like Matt Podvoisky and Ben Lesh, these are two guys who've been involved into, well, making that to happen. And yeah, so let's just really quick jump into quick example. So guys, if you want, you can type that URL in your browser. It's techbliss.com/edit/observable-API. And you will end up on that screen. I just want to quickly show you that here is, I have a code. It's based on observable. And you see there's no libraries there. I'm not referencing anything. There is no RxJS or anything. So this is like a native observable object right there. This is just an example, basic example, creating a time interval, and then we kind of, looping through subscriber.next, which producing a new value. So that's another example right here, example of button click. That's how you can capture your button clicks using observable. Then another example right here, you can do observable from. Like for those who used RxJS before, I think you familiar with most of it. So there is a list of operations. I'm not going to go through each of that, but there is a couple of more links right there. You can go and see, can I use observable? And you can check this TC39 proposal. And that's a list of operation functions which are already available. But this is a good thing, but the bad thing, it's only available in Chromium browsers. So if you try to run this code in anything than non-Chromium browser, like say, Firefox, it won't work. So stay aware of that. All right. So we just spoke about promises and observables and some other challenges and ups and downs of that. But yeah, if you're using a modern front-end framework like Vue, React, or Angular, there is something there called change detection, so you're kind of safe. You don't have to invent your own wheel to connect your model data with a DOM. There is like a framework doing this work for you. In React, it looks like that. They use virtual DOM, but again, there's lots of complexity involved, and sometimes it does not work as you would expect. Yeah, you can think of change detection as a black box. So there is a better solution for that in the modern frameworks. It's called fine-grained reactivity. Fine-grained updates involve updating only specific part of user interface, the user interface that have changed, rather than re-rendering the entire UI on the screen. Yeah, that's how it looks. So you can imagine how performant your application can be using this approach. So yeah, super cool. And luckily, yeah, we got signals now. That's a main driving force behind fine-grained reactivity. Put a smiley face if you used signals before. Oops, no, not these signals, not that, this one, this one. What I mean, signal is a way to represent stateful reactive data. In other words, a reactive primitive. So let's break it actually in two parts so you understand it better. Reactive, it means propagation of change. It means data flow propagation. And primitive, it means fundamental data type, first-class citizen. And if you're using a framework, modern framework that has signals natively supported, so that's your signal primitive right there. Thinking signals, it means one-way data flow and values and computations. So literally, a signal is a wrapper on top of value. Signals optimized for modern front-end frameworks. Well, the one frameworks that let's say Angular, let's say Solid. We talk about it in a couple of slides. It reduces the rendering and improving performance like tremendously. And also, it's useful on a server. So there is a team. I've been told there is a team that trying to utilize signals on a server. I don't know the exact use case, but something backend related, as you can tell. So yeah, there is lots of use cases there, not just in the front-end world. You might wonder when to use signals. So, well, when you want to render something on UI, it's a great use case for using signal. Okay, so everyone heard of Knockout probably back in 2010. Well, if you started maybe a little bit late in software engineering, maybe you haven't heard. But actually, Knockout and Meteor, they kind of try to push similar idea forward. Then Vue came along and Solid in 2020. Actually, Solid was being built around fine-grained reactivity. Then Quick borrows the same idea in 2021, Preact in 2022, and then Angular in 2023, which is super cool. So yeah, if you're using one of those frameworks, you're using signals probably by default. And there's a couple of writings on that subject. I found a good one on vue.js.org. So check it out if you want to learn more. Actually, there is a TC39 initiative to standardize signals in ECMAScript. How cool is that? Currently, it's stage one. The goal of that proposal is to make consistent reactivity model across all frameworks. And there is a couple of great people like Rob Eisenberg and Daniel Echenberg. They've been stayed behind this proposal. So yeah, these two guys as well, they talk to all front-end frameworks teams to make sure they are set the right expectations. And the objective is to develop a standardized approach for developers and performance optimization. And literally, in the end of the day, unify reactivity model across all frameworks. If you want to learn more, check out that signal proposal. And there is also a polyfill. So as you can tell, there is no implementation yet. So you can check out the polyfill if you want. But if you use a modern front-end framework, yes, there is an implementation of signals right there. Let me show you another demo. So this is my code.
Hang on 1 second, Alex. We've got a question here. So once signals come built into JavaScript ECMA, will we be requiring state management libraries?
Yeah. So signals doesn't really solve the problem of state management. It kind of helps because signals, it's a glue between your model and a view, right? And model and view, but behind the model, there is always a state management. So you would have state management, and then you have a signal exposed in your data up to UI, right? So you have state management, signal, and UI. So that's how it looks. Yeah, I think if it would be possible to build a simple state management using signals, but well, we'll see. It's too early to tell, but we will see. So yeah, I think there would be two camps actually. Yeah, someone would want to go like signals all the way, and someone say, oh, no, we want to use existing state management, and then we want to expose our data as a signal. So I hope it's answering the question. Are there any more questions so far?
Not yet. Just people commenting on spelling and Flexbox.
Okay, so this is a demo. This is a simple example of a simple application. On the top here, you can see the template. Okay, guess what framework? Can anyone in the chat guess what frameworks is that so far by looking at the template? Okay, I'll show you the code now. Can you guess now what it is? Okay, can you see this logo right there? That's the answer. This is Angular logo. This is Angular logo. So yeah, this is
Angular with React JSX. Is that right?
this is Angular. This is
Just
latest Angular version 20. I can prove you. Okay, for
we
those.
it's all right.
Yeah, this is easy. This is Angular. This is a packaging. Okay, good. So let's jump back to the component. So here, you know what? Let's jump to the application first. This is a simple application. This is a search. So you know what this code corresponds to. This is an application. We can search for things. You know, it's very simple, like kind of autocomplete kind of search, right? You have input field, and yeah, based on what you type, you got it auto-completed, like a clear button. So very simple. So let's jump back to the component. This is a component, corresponds to that view. Super simple. But let me show you that part. This is what makes it super interesting. So we have a signal here. As you already know, signals is not yet JavaScript native type. This comes from Angular core package. So initial value is empty. And then here, I'm using a resource. Resource is a kind of a, well, function that I can use, the function that corresponds to my query. So every time when you type, it will trigger a action there, and my loader will correspond to that new query. So in that particular case, every time when there is a new query right there, right? Every time you type, loader realizes that and executing that fetch function accordingly. And this all out of the box. I didn't invent it. It all comes from the Angular package itself. So yeah, this is a signal right there, and my loader produces another signal. So there is two signals here. The query is a signal, and the output of my loader is also a signal, which getting assigned to data. And on a template, we have our input, which connected with a query, right? So every time we type, query getting set. And then every time there is a new thing, we getting it output right here in the search results. And if there is no data, yeah, there is no data. So that's how simple it is. Also, by out of the box, I'm getting this isLoading function. So then I don't have to write it myself, because this data function, which is a signal, it's exposing isLoading function. So my template always knows when it's isLoading state, and I can put this nice progress bar there. Also, there is a .error state, so which I don't have to introduce myself. It's right there. So if there is an error, I just showing that error. How cool is that? And yeah, if there is a value, I'm just looking through that value, and it all comes out of the box.
Mm-hmm.
So if you want to play with this code, I can share it later with you. That's how it looks. So yeah, if you have any questions, please go on. If you don't have, I'm happy to continue my presentation.
Nothing yet. Any questions?
Okay.
I don't yet.
So let's talk about signals at scale. So I don't really mean that scale. I mean that scale. So yeah, actually, last year, YouTube team, they adopted signals. Can you imagine that? So this was a big thing. And signals are now in production on 100 YouTube mobile web traffic. Not just signals, Angular signals. So they took that Angular package and they consume that Angular package within YouTube code base, which made YouTube super performant. Not just that. So it was a collaboration between Angular team and Wiz team. Wiz, W-I-Z, it's another framework within Google. It's a proprietary framework. And so these two teams, they collaborated, and their effort was an adoption of signals. Which in the end of the day, it's improved interaction latency. It improved the frame rate. And as a side effect of that, it simplifies the signals adoption, it simplify and unify code base. So now that code base, the YouTube code base, become easier to maintain. So this is super cool, and I'm super proud for YouTube team. So the results exceeded all expectations.
So was it the browser YouTube, or was it in YouTube app as well, or?
It's on YouTube mobile. So if you're using mobile like YouTube mobile app, well, if you go, I think it's m.youtube.com, right? So if you go on your browser and if you're using your mobile browser, that's where signals are. I don't think they incorporate them into actual native app, because this is native app, I believe. It's not a web app, yeah. But if you're using mobile browser, that's where signals are.
All right, cool.
So yeah, they achieved 60 FPS on the video player, improved code structure, and they implemented this new reactive data flow, which is easy to debug and easy to understand what's going on in your app, which is very important. And yeah, which means by adopting signals, there is no need to focus on performance tuning, right? Because there is notion of fine-grained reactivity. It only changed what's been changed in your data model. Doesn't really redraw the whole UI. Oops, no signal, but please stand by, guys. So how to start with signals? Well, there is a couple of links I want to share with you. This is a React.js blog, quite good one. Solid.js, Angular.dev guide on signals. Vue.js.org, there is another one. Reactivity in depth. And yeah, check out github.com, TC35 proposal signals. And this is Eisenberg effect.medium.com. This is Rob Eisenberg blog. Check out on proposals for signals there. And yeah, if you want me to share my demos, yeah, reach out. I'll share it with you if you want to play with the code. And so let's recap really quick. So we just spoke about reactivity, a fine-grained reactivity, signals, and how signals solve all these interesting problems on the front end. We touch on the modern front-end frameworks. I wonder you are using some of those already at your work. Please type in the chat what front-end framework you're actually using at your work. Is it React? Is it Solid? Is it Vue.js? Is it Angular? Is it something else? Maybe there is a new one, which I don't know. Maybe you're using already this one. So yeah, we get into the end. Thank you for listening. And again, that was Lex Kuncevic. Is the best way to reach me out on LinkedIn. You see a QR code here or there. I'm a recognized industry expert. I'm architecting and building systems. I stepped in to analyze the problem, taking ownership of that problem, driving the solution, and getting things done. I'm advising and explaining technical concepts, supporting dev teams, And feel free to reach out if you need assistance or you know someone who does. Thank you very much. And I'm looking for questions, or if you want to chat about anything, or if you want to dig into any specific concept I was talking today, yeah, please feel free to open the conversation.
So we've got React and Vue as some of the mentioned one, and we got a question from C# of T. So what are the available approaches to use Signal for non-Chromium browsers via Polyfill, or was it Polyfill for all the browsers at this point?
Yeah, in case of Signal, there is one for Polyfill. There is no implementation yet in any browser. It's super early. It's super early, stage 1. But I think if you want to deal with signals in a browser, you better off like adopting a framework for that. There is a bunch of frameworks that are already supporting signals. Just use those. I wouldn't recommend using a Polyfill, but just unless you just want to explore. But if you building a production app, I would recommend you to trust to a framework. The framework which support signals. There is lots of options now.
Right. So you were saying use the signals built into Angular or built into Vue or whatever else, rather than a generic. Yeah.
Or you can take the package if you don't want a framework. Just check out the package. You can get Angular package. You can get React package. It's separate, and you can just play with that if you want.
Right, you just put in the signal part of it, and then you don't need the whole rest of the. Yeah, they separated it out enough that it's discrete. That's cool. All right, other questions? So we got another one. So thank you. So by using signals, there's no need to use RxJS library anymore. Is that right?
I think there is a misconcept there. Signals and RxJS is two different things, kind of. Signals is a glue between view and data model. Signals optimizing change detection, enabling fine-grained reactivity, right? And RxJS, it's a little bit different beast. RxJS actually solving asynchronous problem. RxJS and promises. This is one camp, and signals playing a little bit in different camp. So usually you would still use promises, or you would still use RxJS, and then you glue your RxJS or promises with signals. So that's how you deliver data to your view using signals. But beyond the signals, you would use RxJS or promises or state management. I hope it makes sense.
Other questions?
So I reference a lot of Chromium browsers, and I wonder, guys, anyone not using Chromium browsers, Chromium enabled browsers, maybe like write in the chat if you are using like Firefox or what else, Safari or what else is there?
I'm using Firefox on Android often because you can ad blockers, which is just makes it a better experience, really.
Yeah, actually, I found you can use Brave and Internet and Samsung Internet. They both as well. Blocking, Brave blocking by default. With Samsung Internet, you have to download an extension. There is a couple of ad blockers and extensions which works well on Firefox mobile.
Yeah, last time I checked, you couldn't do it in Chrome, so that's why I went.
Oh, sorry, did I say Firefox mobile? Sorry, Samsung Internet. Yeah, Firefox is by default, right?
Oh, I think I installed it as a plugin.
Yeah, okay, maybe, okay, right.
Yeah, I mean, Chrome desktop's got ad blocking plugins, but not the mobile one, I think. Unless it's changed. I mean,
I'm not using Chrome mobile, so I don't know. I'm using Samsung Internet. I'm using Brave and Firefox. Depends on what on what I'm doing. So I have a browser, a specific browser for different things.
That's good. Any more questions for Alexi? See, I was wondering, can you show us like just a really basic use of signals as like, as a value wrapper, like the very most basic? Have you got something just with a very basic one, just showing, setting a value and then updating it?
Yep, we can. Let me see.
Like the most simplest use of a signal.
Yeah. Okay, let's. Okay, yeah, I do have that.
Put you on the spot or anything.
Give me 1 second, mate.
Dimitri's put a link to the TC39 proposal signals, which maybe it's got a simple example.
Yeah, that's where I'm digging. I would look at Vue.js reactivity in depth example. Actually, no, I would use in Preact signals. Yeah, I remember it's been a good one. Yeah. So guys, James, would you mind to send the link? I'll send it in a private chat. That's a link.
Sure. Do you want to just bring it up on the screen now? Put it
Absolutely. Let's do that. Okay. So this Preact guy, and that's how you do it. It's very much similar across different frameworks. So you have your signal, and then you set a value. So in Angular, you would call a function to set a value. Here, you set in values through operator.
Yes.
Okay, let's compare with Angular.
Get notified of the change.
Okay, so I want to compare side by side Preact and Angular. So let's see the Angular API. It's a little different. Minimize. So again, you declare in signal same way, and then call function set. You see, so that's the difference between.
You actually call it as a method to get the value in Angular.
Yeah, I actually like function. I like this. I like this one better. But yeah.
And then where it.
Okay, go on, James.
Just where's the bit where it notifies of the change?
Well, yeah, if you just say on template you're using this count signal, that's all. You just reference on your template, and every time value changed, your UI will be updated. You don't have to worry about it. You don't need the change detection. You don't need to call any whatever functions. It just automatically. And it works the same way in Preact, in Vue, in Angular. It's a wrapper on a value. So which is different from a React.js observable, right? You have to subscribe for observable, for example, to get the value, and then you have to unsubscribe, right? But with signals, you don't have to do it. Signals solve a little different problem though.
Do they have a bit where similar to how the framework hooks into it? Like, is it using how does the framework see the change?
Yeah, it's built into core of the framework. So there is.
You can't hook it externally. It's only used inside the framework.
Yeah, because it's used within the framework. So if you build in something custom, say if you want to build a HTML page and you want to use like say Preact package or Angular package. Actually, I haven't tried it. Oh yeah, I haven't tried it. If someone want to try it, please go ahead and give a talk next month. See.
All right. Well, thank you very much for showing that as well, and for the talk. Definitely interesting stuff and cutting edge of JavaScript world as well. So I've got some questions for the attendees for the exciting JetBrains license. So let's start with a simple one. All right. So when should you use signals? First person to answer it gets the JetBrains license. Obviously, the answer is not always, because it's got a particular case when you want to use it. Anyone in the chat? Yeah. All right. Thank you, Prasad. So we got it for Reactivity UI. I think, yeah, Lexi, you were saying for syncing the UI, right? So that seems pretty much on target. So please send me a meetup message with your email address, and I'll send you one of the licenses. And all right. And when would you use observable as the other question? This one's Alexia had more times to use it, but any of the ones that he mentioned.
Should we ask ChatGPT?
Oh, you think you can beat
Can we give a license to ChatGPT? If ChatGPT won't
be able to use the license, though. I think it's the one.
No way.
These days, actually,
let's do it.
You see if you can beat the chat. If no one actually replies here, we'll have to have another question. So, but you can try Gemini or something.
Yeah.
Hang on. Yeah, Dimitri's got something. All right, dealing with asynchronous events. That sounds all right. What do you think? You happy with that, Alexi?
Yeah, pretty much. Yeah.
Yeah. All right, Dimitri. I probably got your email, but just send me a message or email with your email, so I remember to send you the license. That would be good. And does anyone have a physical office or anything they can volunteer for alt.net meetings for once or from time to time? Please get in touch or comment now if you can offer your space to host or even know a good space to host. Hyde Park, it's too cold in winter, Dimitri, I think, for Hyde Park. Not to mention it be more kind of soapbox style without a projector or anything. There is actually this soapbox outside of like the art gallery area in the domain where they have like people just walk up and talk, which is just not right for our tech presentations though. Anyone, any other suggestions?
Oh.
My gosh.
It's not what I was asking.
All right. Well, in summary, we have two real people to give the licenses, so I think we're all right.
No.
So the answer is no, I'm sorry. But if you put it into your tooling, maybe the agent can use it.
So do you have any questions to AI, James?
Anyway, we should probably wrap it up, but unless anyone's got we got Dimitri saying he's using VS Code, so not to put in JetBrains. Well, I mean, they got other things. They got some SQL tools and a few other things. So have a look when you get the license. I think there's like 20 or 30 to choose from. So hopefully there's something useful there.
Is it a license like for all products, James?
Yes, all products. I mean, yeah. You can choose one of the all products. You can't choose the all products license.
Oh, okay, right.
Yes, I did try that, and it said your license is not valid for that. Mm-hmm. So you have to choose one. All right. So yeah, thank you very much, Alexi. Great to have you on alt.net again. And we'll try hard to get you a physical meetup for your next talk as well. And yes, thank you everyone for coming. And if anyone's got any talks, we do have a few booked in, but if anyone's got anything they want to talk about, get in touch and we can find you a month to do it in as well. So thank you everyone and good night.
Good night, everyone. Thank you for joining the talk. I see you around.
See you around. Thank you. Bye.